Hi everyone, this is Joel Bednowski from Harpeth Consultant Advisory Group, and as June is Pride Month, where we celebrate the LGBTQ plus community, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about inclusion. Is your community or facility perceived as inclusive? Do you have any LGBTQ plus residents residing in your facility or participating in your programs? It is important to remember that there are many ways that you can make your communities inclusive. I will go through a few examples in a moment, but having your community be inclusive is much more than just hanging a rainbow flag out front. As a member of the LGBTQ plus community, it is important to me to put focus on this subject and hopefully help you start the conversation. But first, I wanted to share some statistical information with you that you may not be aware of. You'll be able to find all the links to the stats in the description below. As you're scrolling down, be sure to hit like and subscribe to our page so you don't miss out on any of our updates. According to the SAGE Foundation, which is the nation's oldest and largest organization advocating with and on behalf of the LGBTQ plus older adults, by 2030, there are going to be 7 million LGBTQ plus older adults 65 or better. Current research estimates tell us that 2.4% of Americans self-identify as LGBTQ plus, including 2.7 million people aged 50 and older, of which 1.1 million are 65 and older. According to a report from AARP, LGBTQ plus older adults are concerned about having adequate social supports and access to culturally competent medical care. Many fear discrimination in long-term care settings. Research has consistently shown LGBTQ plus older adults are less likely to have children to care for them. They're less likely to have someone to call on in a time of need, and are at a much greater risk for social isolation than their heterosexual peers. In a report from a broad coalition of LGBTQ plus groups and released by the National Senior Citizens Law Center, LGBT older adults in long-term care facilities, Stories from the Field, it highlighted that mistreatment that some LGBTQ elders that they have encountered. Of the total respondents, 328 people reported 853 instances of abuse, including harassment by staff and residents, refusal by staff to accept a medical power of attorney, refusal by staff to use a preferred name and/or a preferred pronoun, refusal to provide care, wrongful transfer or discharge. Nearly 9 in 10 respondents said that they thought long-term care staff would discriminate against someone who came out in a facility. 8 in 10 of the respondents said that they would expect mistreatment or bullying from nursing home residents. 1 in 10 respondents reported that nursing home staff had disregarded a medical power of attorney when it was assigned to a resident's partner. Transgender elders in particular reported that they experienced isolation and staff refusal to recognize their gender identities. In a report from AARP, which surveyed LGBTQ plus adults aged 45 and older, it stated, most are uneasy about acceptance and think that entering long-term care might force them to hide or deny their LGBTQ plus status and identity. More than 80% of the survey respondents said they would welcome signs or symbols that indicate a facility or a service is LGBTQ plus friendly. LGBTQ plus adults would also prefer that long-term care providers be trained to handle their specific needs, or that some staff identify as LGBT. I could go on and on with these statistics. The numbers are even more startling for LGBTQ plus communities of color. But it is a reality, and with a more liberal generation approaching or currently in the retirement phase of life, communities now, more so than ever, need to determine how they are going to show individuals that they are inclusive. In response to growing concern that the aging LGBTQ+ population is facing, two of the nation's largest organizations who serve the LGBTQ+ community, the Human Rights Campaign and the SAGE Foundation, developed the Long-Term Care Quality Index, or as it's referred to as the LEI. It is an assessment tool that helps residential long-term care communities measure the extent to which they are providing culturally competent care to LGBTQ+ older adults. It consists of a survey and practical recommendations on improving policies, procedures, trainings, and outreach for the best care. This is certainly a great step forward, being actually recognized as an inclusive facility. More information on the LEI can be found in the description below, and I urge you to take a look. But for those of you who are not quite ready to jump in the deep end, there are small things that you can do to start the inclusion process. A great place to start is in your life enrichment and recreation programming. This is a perfect place to showcase some programs that are LGBTQ+ friendly. As I mentioned earlier, June is Pride Month. This is a great time to dip your toes in the pond. Start with what I call an innocuous inclusion program. Look at your current programs, and perhaps maybe you have a music program that is scheduled. This is a great place to have a program still be a music program, but have it focus on LGBTQ+ singers and songs. If you're doing a creative program, you could do something that is inspired by an LGBTQ+ artist. As you move ahead a little more, you can do an educational program, maybe on the history of the rainbow flag, which we have available for purchase. Just contact us or visit our website at harpconag.com if you would like to purchase that program. Now, the challenge is making it a regular occurrence on your programming schedules. Creating and developing programs that are not exclusive to one group is key. It is not just an LGBTQ program. It is a program for all with a focus on LGBTQ+ material. Starting to weave these through all of the domains of practice starts showing people that you are offering inclusive programming. Remember, this is not just hanging rainbow flags in June and then going back to things as usual. That's not what it is. It's taking dedicated effort on a daily basis. Looking for a way to get involved in the community? Check out and see if you have any LGBTQ+ nonprofit organizations, and perhaps there is something you and your community can do to support them. Maybe develop a mentorship program for at-risk LGBTQ+ youth. Maybe hold a fundraiser where you are auctioning off art that your residents did that focus on LGBTQ+ issues. There are so many ways that you can get involved with the LGBTQ+ community, you just have to look. Like I said, programming is a great place to start, but it should be part of every aspect of your organization. From your admission forms, where they are asking how the individuals identify their gender, other than just the standard male or female, asking their preferred pronouns, and so on. It involves training for staff on specific LGBTQ+ sensitivity and understanding. Putting protocols in place, if you do not already have them, for same-sex couples who want to move into your community. As you start doing these things, it will show people, like me, that your community is inclusive. For those of you watching who are family, we won't share the secret handshake, I promise. But if you need help figuring out where to start, please feel free to contact us to discuss how we might be able to help with your inclusion efforts. It truly is my hope that by watching this video, you will start the conversation with your powers that be on how you can start having your community be more inclusive and welcoming to the aging LGBTQ plus population. As I tell people time and time again, we raise property value. So fire up the confetti cannons because we are coming. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day.